How to get residency in Panama. Today we're going to talk about one of the most popular visa options in whole Latin America, Panama's Friendly Nations visa. And because so many of you have been interested in relocating to Paraguay and Panama, we're going to be comparing two programs with another. Panama's Friendly Nations visa program has been around for a very long time. But if you've followed the program's requirements, you know that there have been some rather drastic changes happening in the Friendly Nations visa policies. Namely, the 5K bank deposit that granted you permanent residency is long gone. You can no longer qualify by simply depositing money into a Panamanian bank account. However, there are still several options available for you to qualify today. The most popular option that entrepreneurs and investors take is to incorporate a Panamanian company to sponsor themselves, because when you sponsor yourself, you do get a work permit and a residence permit as well. Panama makes it actually quite easy to incorporate a company. We're not talking about months and months of waiting. It's actually quite simple. To qualify for the Friendly Nations visa, your country must be on the list of eligible countries, and most Western countries are on Panama's list. We're talking about the United States, Canada, Western Europe, and even some countries in Asia, and of course Australia, New Zealand, and some countries in Latin America as well. But if you're from a country like India or Bangladesh, Pakistan, it will be very hard for you to get into Latin America, at least into most countries. But if you are from one of the eligible countries, it will be much easier for you, because Panama does have diplomatic relations with most Western countries, and that makes it a lot easier to get into Panama. If you want to qualify under the Friendly Nations visa, which requires you to open up a company in Panama, then a bank deposit is not really required unless you bring your family with you. Let's say you have a wife, you have dependents, you want to move your beautiful family to Panama to start a new life and take your business to the next level. Great. If you have a family, you may need to deposit money into a local bank account. It simply is a requirement, as proof of income is required if you want to bring your dependents with you to Panama. So you can deposit $5,000 into a Panamanian bank account, and that will do. If you're a single applicant, you will probably not need to deposit the money. You will not need to prove economic solvency. However, you always have to incorporate the company if you want to get into Panama through this route. If we compare this to Paraguay, let's say you want to get into Paraguay through permanent residency, and you can do that by incorporating a company. So Paraguay got this residency by investment option, which is definitely a viable option for someone who wants to take advantage of the Mercosur countries nearby. So you want to import and export between countries. Let's say you're in manufacturing, you're selling some kind of physical product, or even if you're selling something like a service, you may still qualify for permanent residency. So this is really, really cool. And with Paraguay, you actually have to invest $70,000 over the period of 10 years to get this visa, to get residency by investment. You don't have to invest it right away, but you do have to invest it over a number of years. So this is definitely a difference. In Panama, you don't have to do that. In terms of processing time, it will take probably anywhere from 2 months, at the very least 2 months, all the way up to 6 months to get your residency card issued by the Panamanian government. Now, 6 months is usually the worst case scenario. It can be a lot shorter than that, but just to set your expectations right, it can take up to 6 months. In terms of document requirements, there's also a distinct difference. Panama does not require a birth certificate, which has been a problem for a lot of people who immigrated to the United States or Canada, and let's say they were born in India, they were born in Thailand, and because they were born in Asia, it's usually very hard for them to get an apostilled birth certificate. It's very hard to get the birth certificate with the apostille. Is usually very hard for those people because they need to travel back, and in some cases they can't get it anymore because they surrendered their Asian citizenship. There are a lot of people like that, and to them it's actually very hard to immigrate because of this lacking document that is a requirement for so many governments worldwide, for so many visa applications worldwide. And in Argentina and in Panama, you don't need the birth certificate to immigrate to the two countries. In Paraguay, you need it. There's really no way around it, and we've been asked this question a lot, but there's really no way around it. So you always need your birth certificate to immigrate to Paraguay. In Panama, you don't need it, which is great. However, what you need in Panama is your police certificate. So if you're in the United States of America, you're going to need FBI clearance. If you're in Europe, right, you're going to need your national police certificate from your country of origin. Let's say that's Germany, France, Spain, Scandinavia. If you're living up there, you would need to bring that with you. You always need your passport, you need photos, and you always need to get all documents translated unless they are issued in Spanish. So if you are from Spain, that's always an advantage. Let's say you want to get into Panama and do it through the Friendly Nations visa, and you want to do it through sponsorship, but you don't want to incorporate a company, then what you can do is you can always find a sponsor. If you can find someone who's willing to sponsor you, then you can avoid all the hassle associated with incorporating a company, paying all these fees. Because with a company, you have to do a lot of things. There's compliance, there's monthly accounting that needs to be done, yearly tax returns, you need to have employees potentially, if you want to outsource it, unless you want to do it yourself. So there is a lot of work involved to, keep a company open and to stay compliant, where if you get sponsorship, you have to probably pay more, but you don't need to deal with all the burden that comes with incorporating a company, and especially maintaining a company, which will probably be more costly in the long term. So if you want to get in and you just want to get the residence permit and you have no intention of opening up a company, but you want to get in and you find sponsorship and you work for a company legally, of course, then that would be a better mousetrap if you want to avoid all these costs and still take advantage of the Friendly Nations visa. So there are more ways to do it, and this is definitely an option to consider. Finding a sponsor is usually not so easy unless you can contribute value. Sometimes you can pay a fee, and sometimes you may be able to work for a company, so you really need to keep your ears on the ground to see any hidden opportunities that may help you to get into Panama by qualifying for the Friendly Nations visa without incorporating a company yourself. What about opening up a bank account in Panama? This is a very important question, and we are being asked this question a lot. Can you open up a company without having a physical presence in Panama? And most of the times the answer is a no. There may be certain investment accounts you may qualify for without having physical presence in Panama, but for the average person watching this video, you do need to live in Panama to open up a bank account. And to be fair, the same is also true in Paraguay. We have people contacting us and they're asking us, hey, I can open up a bank account in Paraguay without residency. They ask me for confirmation, and I tell them in most cases that is not true unless you can get a special account or with a certain bank that will accept you. Maybe the features will be more limited, but as a rule of thumb, and I think that holds true in many countries, you have to obtain residency first, then you can open up a bank account. But in Panama, that's also the case. Like I said, there may be some exceptions. So if you get residency in Panama, then you may be able to open up a bank account as well. Since you will be applying for the Friendly Nations visa and you do it by incorporating a company, you can definitely get a bank account sooner than other people. All right, let's talk about the alternative, which is a very important one too. So you can get residency by real estate investment. This amount can be invested in an apartment, in a house, in land. So you can really choose whatever you want to purchase to get residency by real estate purchase. It is not limited to specific areas, so it doesn't need to be in Panama City. You can buy something in a rural area. You can buy close to the Costa Rican border if that's what you want. You can buy an ocean property. It's really up to you. And this will also get you residency in Panama. Let's do a few quick more comparisons here. Panama got access to the ocean, which is a big plus to many people. They want to be close to the beach. They want to be living at sea level. I totally get it. There are many people who have this desire, and so Panama makes a lot of sense. In terms of weather variety, Panama doesn't have so much to offer, even though there is a town located in northern Panama where you get kind of coolish climate, but it's nothing like it is in America or Canada, but it's still going to be cooler in that town. You can look into Boquete, which is a nice place. So if you get tired of the high humidity and the high temperatures, you can always do a weekend escape to Boquete, or even live there for part of the year, whatever your ambitions are in Panama. But as a rule of thumb, Panama is a very tropical country. Okay, so look at where it's located. It's right on the equator, so there's very little variety in climate. It's humid, it's sticky, but it works for a lot of people because they want the beach, and this is beach weather. It's perfect for the beach. Now, Paraguay does have more variety in climate, plus it's a bigger country than Panama as well, and the summers in Paraguay, our winters, they can be really, really hot. If you're accustomed to the hot summers in Texas or the hot summers in Florida, you may very well be fine with the temperatures in Paraguay. And if you've lived in Southeast Asia, super high humidity, high temperatures, you may also do well in Paraguay. In Paraguay, maybe 2 to 3 weeks throughout the year it can get coolish, even a little bit cold, cold, you know, you're looking at maybe like in the 50s and sometimes even like the 40s. That's possible, but typically the weather doesn't stay at such a low temperature for very long. Through most of the year, Paraguay is a very hot country. What Paraguay and Panama have in common is that both countries offer a territorial tax system. So foreign sourced income is typically not taxed in Paraguay and Panama. And both countries are also very crypto friendly. Paraguay does not tax your crypto income, so if you made money from hodling or trading cryptocurrency, then that money would not be taxed in Paraguay. Both countries are really great tax savers, and that's why we recommend Paraguay and Panama. If you're interested in obtaining a residence permit in one of the two countries we just discussed, feel free to reach out to us now. Nomad Elite is a full package relocation agency that helps people from all over the world move to liberal and tax-friendly countries, including Panama and Paraguay. Thank you so much for watching Nomad Elite. We truly appreciate your attendance, and we see you on the next video.